Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you all so much for being with me here today. I appreciate each and every one of you so very much. Today, just want to take just a quick minute and talk with you about some albums that I have been listening to lately. I have been listening to a bunch of albums lately, and actually this past couple of months, I picked up a few albums. Both of these albums came from Randy's Records in Salt Lake City, and one I kind of was very interested in, being the Dan Fogelberg, Tim Weisberg album. But while I was hunting and going through records and then just kind of just looking and whatnot, I picked up quite a few actually of records while I was there. But really, the two that I want to talk with you about today is, of course, the Dan Fogelberg and Tim Weisberg album. The title of the album is No Resemblance Whatsoever. But then I really ran onto an album that I really didn't know a whole lot about and didn't really think much of at the time, really, that I was when I was shopping at Randy's Records up in Salt Lake. And got it home, really didn't listen to it for quite a while. It's been probably a month or so since I've had this album. But the album that really just piqued my interest when I put it on my turntable to listen to was the Allman Brothers Band Second Set. And I'm excited to share with you my thoughts on this album because number one, and I love the Allman Brothers Band. I hope you do too because they're one of my favorite bands. They're a great band. Always have liked their music. But boy, I tell you what, I really wasn't prepared and really wasn't expecting to be wowed by the music on this album. And then there's another part of that that really struck me, and that was the sound quality. And I can't wait to share that with you. Let's go ahead and let's get started. And really first, let's talk about Dan Fogelberg and Tim Weisberg, No Resemblance Whatsoever. Really a fine album. Pretty much, I would guess, I don't know, soft rock, if you will, but really good music. A fair amount of the songs on the album are instrumental, but where there are vocals, Dan Fogelberg's voice, if you're a fan of Dan Fogelberg, you gotta love Dan Fogelberg. I think he's got some of the most incredible music ever. I love his albums. Phoenix, The Innocent Age. I could go, there's a ton of them. In fact, Impex is releasing one, and I'm not sure if it's in March or May of this year. And I can't remember the title that they're releasing, but I'm super excited to snag that, being a Dan Fogelberg fan. But Dan Fogelberg and Tim Weisberg are great. Let's talk about Dan Fogelberg and Tim Weisberg, No Resemblance Whatsoever. Okay, Dan Fogelberg, Tim Weisberg, No Resemblance Whatsoever. This is actually the first time that this album has been on vinyl. When it was released, I believe in 1970 or 1995, it was only released on compact disc. And I've had it since 1995 because I'm a big fan of Dan Fogelberg. And I really like the combination of Dan Fogelberg and Tim Weisberg, twin sons of different mothers. Great music, a lot instrumental, but just absolutely fantastic music by these guys. This is on the Omnivore Recordings label. This album, it's just a regular standard. Let me quickly just show you what you get. Really standard vinyl release. The inside album sleeve that you get with this is like that, if you can see that. Kind of cool looking, I guess, but that's kind of what you get on the inside of the album. The vinyl does appear to be 180 gram, or at least it feels like it anyway. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. And really kind of interesting. The lacquers, by the way, were cut by a guy by the name of Jeff Powell for Omnivore Recordings. Really, it's a pretty decent sounding album. I was a little bit shocked, and I'll kind of give you a little brief thought as I get to the end. I'm just going to talk about a couple, 3-4 songs that, if you're not familiar with the album, that would be really good for you to vet out if you're not. But really, I was really kind of surprised that decent sound that the album has. I mean, by absolutely no means it's something that you would want to call an audiophile standard, but it certainly has got great music. In particular, if you're a Dan Fogelberg, Tim Weisberg fan, as I am, it's got some pretty decent music. On side one, uh, the first song that really struck me was really it's because of the guitar work. The name of the song it's the third track on side one, Santos. Todos Santos. Excellent guitar work on this track. It just sounds excellent. It's a fantastic song. The drums and the flute are really recorded really quite well. It sounds really good. The last song, or excuse me, the fourth song on side one, Sunlight. This is a song where Dan Fogelberg actually has vocals in it, and it's a great song. It's really a beautiful song. Drums and all the instruments, including the flute, by Tim Weisberg, sound really good. I mean, it's really pretty well balanced, and it's actually a pretty good sounding song. Moving over to side two, the first two songs in are really two of the songs you absolutely must hear if you're unfamiliar with the album and want to vet it out. The first song is The Face of Love. This is a great song. Dan Fogelberg's vocals on this track are excellent. Extraordinarily nice detail, especially on percussion, and Tim Weisberg's flute. Very good and clear and well defined. The drums are really, like I say, pretty good with pretty decent weight, believe it or not. The second song on side two, Songbird, yet another great song. Dan Fogelberg's vocals are absolutely excellent on this track. The song in itself is excellent. It's a beautiful song. Very nice detail on all instruments, especially the percussion and Tim Weisberg's flute. Drums, once again, are pretty darn good. Surprisingly good, actually. Really pretty decent song. The last song on side two is called Windward. It's just an instrumental, but this is really quite a very good and dynamic track. Drums are very good on this track. Keyboards along with Weisberg's flute, really nice. It's about a 6-minute long track, and it's an instrumental, but it's a really good track. It's definitely one that you want to absolutely vet the album out with. It's an excellent, upbeat, type of instrumental song, beautiful music, vet it out, listen to it. Honestly and truthfully, I'm really glad that I picked it up. I think it sounds great. How does it sound comparison to the CD? Well, to be honest with you, the vinyl and the CD are not much different. To be honest, it's really kind of crazy. Yes, the CD, as you would as well expect, is going to be a little bit quieter, but really surprisingly, the vinyl on this vinyl here from Omnivore Recordings isn't bad. I mean, it's not the quietest noise floor I've ever heard on a vinyl record, but it's not terrible. Mine didn't have any snaps, crackles, or pops, which is really good. Honestly and truthfully, the vinyl probably has a little bit fuller sound than the CD does, but I mean, teeny tiny bit. If you can pick up a CD for $2 or $3, you're not going to miss a whole lot. It's a great album. It sounds really good. Absolutely really neat. I think the album only cost like $20, $18, $20. I can't remember. It wasn't expensive, but it really is a nice sounding album. Excellent. It was just released, I think, in January of 25. And so, it's new out there, readily available. Really nice sounding album. If you like if you like Dan Fogelberg and Tim Weisberg, absolutely, really good sounding album. Nothing great, but it really is got great music on it. Dan Fogelberg and Tim Weisberg, no resemblance whatsoever. Highly recommended. Moving right into an album that I was really surprised and shocked. When you see the Allman Brothers Band, when you're kind of searching through bins and in record stores and whatnot, you always kind of, I always look, some of the groups that I always look for, Allman Brothers Band, Steely Dan, Kiss, Yes, Van Halen, a bunch of others, Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, looking for those type of albums. I'm always looking for those albums. And of course, thumbing through the Allman Brothers Band bin, and then this pops up, an album that I have seen before, but I've never really ever really paid much attention to it. I've got a few Allman Brothers Band. I think I got two or three. I know I've got at least one or two on Mobile Fidelity. In fact, one of the songs I'm going to talk about this on this album is on one of the Mobile Fidelity albums. One of my favorite songs, but I really am excited to tell you about how it sounds on this one, which is really kind of crazy. The album is it's Friday Music. It was released in 2015 on Friday Music label. And I've got a bunch of Friday Music albums, a lot of their collected albums, Poco, Steeler's Wheel, Frank Sinatra. There's a few of those collected albums they got on Music on Vinyl, plus some others. And so, and they're okay. I've never been really wowed or overblown like, wow, this is a great label or anything like that. But really shocked at what I picked up here, and really excited to share this with you. The original album, Second Set, it was recorded between 1992 and 1994, live recording at 3 different venues across the United States. It only has appeared in 1995 and since on CD. In 2015, Music on Vinyl released this double album set. And it's been the only time that it's, to my knowledge, or at least that I can see, has been the only time it's ever been released on vinyl. So let's just quickly take a quick peek at it, and I'll kind of show you what we get. It's not a bad little cover. I mean, to be honest, it's kind of flimsy. I mean, it's not anything fantastic. Here's the inside of the gatefold, and then here's the back cover. I really don't think there was no inserts. Oh, I lied to you. There is an insert. And this is the insert that comes with it. Kind of cool. And then, of course, here's the back side of the insert. But the album, it's typical Music on Vinyl. It's nothing really to write home about. It's decent. It's okay. Let me just show you one of the vinyl records. And it's kind of an interesting thing to show you. And I'll explain why. They're 180 gram, so they've done a pretty good job with that. Here's the second set. And this is kind of, the labels are all intact, which is interesting on this one. Let me just show you the other vinyl. Because really, one of the things that I've always been a little bit critical about Music on Vinyl is their quality control. Side 2 of album 1 has no label. So, I mean, is it a big deal? No. I don't even know if you can find this album much anymore. I just picked it up at Randy's Records. It was in the bin, so I picked it up because I really like the Allman Brothers Band. And in listening to this album, probably listened to it a few times lately, because I just was shocked at how good this sounds. Let me kind of talk to you about the tracks on the album and a little bit about the sound. On side 1, Sailing Across the Devil's Sea. Now, if you're familiar with the Allman Brothers Band, to me, this is kind of like folk rock music, at least it is to me. It's classic rock for sure, but really it's kind of more, to me, folk rock. Love the Allman Brothers Band. They got a lot of good, nice guitar riffs in their music. It's one of the reasons why I like the Allman Brothers Band. On side 1, track 1, Sailing Across the Devil's Sea. Excellent guitar work on this song. The recording is surprisingly really, really good. The pressing sounds really good. Pretty darn quiet vinyl. Not the best that you've ever heard, but it really is clear of snaps, crackles, and pops, which I was really shocked about. The guitar has plenty of top end extension and nice clarity on all instruments, including Greg Allman's vocals on the track. It's really quite a good track. Not a bad one to vet it out with. Staying on side 1, track 3, Soul Shine, really nice drums on this track. The drums on the entire album are actually pretty good sounding. I was really surprised at how well the drums sounded with good extension and weight. On this track, Soul Shine, the guitars are once again excellent. Vocals, like I said, are just great. It's a great, great song, a very nice recording. Rolling over to side two, the one with no label, uh, the first song on side one, Back Where It All Belongs. This is a great song. Just a great, great, really live recording. You can really hear the crowd, and the crowd actually sounds really good on this recording. Drums on this track are excellent. Vocals are excellent. Excellent guitar work. This is a song that you just really want to turn the volume up on, in my opinion. The second song on side two, and there's only two songs on side two. The second song on side two is my favorite song on the entire album, In Memory of Elizabeth Reed. This is just an acoustic, an instrumental. There's no vocals on this. Many of you that are familiar with this song will know it. It is a great, great song. And the version on the second set album is fantastic. The guitar work is just clear as a bell. It was really recorded initially between 92 and 94. It was recorded very, very well. It sounds absolutely wonderful. This song is worth purchasing the album for us, what I put in my notes. I'm glad I purchased it because the song just sounds absolutely fantastic. Acoustic and electric guitars are just simply stunning, not to mention the bass guitar is excellent and as well. Imaging between speakers, between the guitars is just fantastic. This is actually a great, great song, and probably the one that I would encourage you to vet the album out with if you're thinking of purchasing it. And like I say, I don't know how easy this is to find. It was released in 2015 on Music on Vinyl. I just saw it at the record store, Randy's Records in Salt Lake, so I don't know. I haven't really looked to see, but it is excellent. Excellent, excellent for this song, In Memory of Elizabeth Reed. What a fantastic track and a great, great recording. Moving over to side three, second song, No One to Run With. This has got an excellent, excellent dynamic rhythm to it. Just excellent guitar work. Vocals and drums on this song are absolutely great. On side four, there's only one song. It's called Jessica. Many of you that are Allman Brothers fans are going to recognize that song. It's a great song. It's it's the only track on side four. I think it's 8, 9, 10 minutes long, something like that. I absolutely love this song. Guitars, once again, are just absolutely excellent with detail. Extension on top to bottom. Drums and percussion are really, really good with pretty dang good definition. Shockingly, it's just shocking how good it sounds to me. I was just not really expecting to hear what I heard. This track has just excellent guitar solos throughout. And overall, there's just a great rock and roll, really great, great track. Another one that you'd want to bet the album out. And it's really another one that you'd probably want the album for. I do know that it's readily available on compact disc. Don't have it. I've never had the album till I bought this one a while back. I think it's great. It's a great sounding album. Once again, absolutely surprised and shocked at how really good it sounded. I was just not expecting to hear, and not that I'm downplaying or degrading in any way, shape, or form Music on Vinyl, the label. They've done some stuff, and I've got some pretty good albums that I really enjoy listening to, but just wasn't prepared to hear the quality that this album produced on this great, great album. Second set, Allman Brothers Band. Great, great album. Highly recommended. Not only for the great music. The music is what we're here for, and the music is phenomenal on this Allman Brothers music at its finest. But why, I tell you what, surprisingly, the recording is very, very, very good. Thank you all so much for watching today. I appreciate you so very much. If you like what you see, please go ahead and subscribe. As always, leave comments in the comment section below. We got a bunch of albums coming up and SACDs from Mobile Fidelity. We've got the 2 new analog productions as part of the Atlantic 75 releases for March coming up. I'm excited to do that. I'm really excited for those albums. A Foreigner album, and I believe the other one is, gosh, I can't remember what the other album is, but I'm excited to hear both of them. I've got them both on the way to me. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a great day.